Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Me? Well, I've just about dried out after yesterday's trip to the Vertical Days exhibition up at the East of England showground. The exhibition itself was very, very good indeed, but the conditions were far from helpful. Imagine trying to film and photograph cranes which reach high into the sky while the rain is bouncing off the camera lens. Yeah, that was kind of my day yesterday. However, we did manage to find a couple of breaks in the clouds, as you will see later in the show. So, without further ado, let me post the question of the day, roll the intro, and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It's Thursday, the 12th of May, and as that remarkably persistent guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, as the winners of a place on a £1.1 billion demolition framework are announced, we ask, who's been framed? We're also in a vertical daze after yesterday's Cranes and Access Equipment exhibition up in Peterborough. We're off to the US to see the latest Doosan wheel loaders going to work. We're in Italy to prove once and for all that sometimes, just sometimes, explosive demolition and humour can mix. And there's also a chance to win a very fine Liebherr baseball cap, which I have about my person right here. You have to stick around for that. We'll get to all that in just a second. But first, let's see who among the rich and the shameless will be celebrating a birthday on this day of days. Happy birthday! And it's many happy returns to the lady with the lamp, Florence Nightingale, and to movie legend Katharine Hepburn, to sour-faced comedian Tony Hancock, baseball Hall of Famer Yogi Berra, and to one of the greatest comedians of all time, at least in my opinion, George Carlin. To the late great Ian Dury, actors Ving Rhames and Emilio Estevez, skateboarder Tony Hawk, and to unstoppable rugby legend Jonah Lomu. But far more importantly, today is actually the birthday of my personal role model, Mr. Homer J. Simpson. Many happy returns to them, one and all. Now, while we're in celebratory mood, 32 years ago today, a young, beautiful, and quite clearly mad young woman, in a moment of madness that she's probably regretted every day since, agreed to be my wife. The fact that we arrived at our wedding reception in a backhoe loader instead of the Bentley that her parents had rented was probably a clue that things were going to be a bit weird around me. But even then, she had no clue that she had inadvertently signed up to a life filled with excavators. She has seen me through half a dozen different magazines, endured my absence while I was jetting around the world to look at diggers in far-flung locations. She's taken care of me, literally in sickness and in health. She's taken care of our 4 children, and she has taken care of our countless boxer dogs along the way. Now, of course, I could have done all of this without her. But what would have been the point? She is not just the power behind the throne, she is the foundation upon which the throne actually sits. So, happy anniversary to Ruth Anthony, better known to the viewing public as Mrs. Demolition News. Now, let me just get that in the right place and we'll crack on. It is almost a year since we reported that a company called Pagabo had issued a prior information notice, or a PIN, on a national demolition and land preparation framework. Well, the winners of a place on that framework have now been announced, and they include notable names such as Armac Demolition, Hughes and Salvage, PP O'Connor, City Demolition, and R. Collard. Jason Stapley, managing director at Pagabo, said, "We've been overwhelmed by the response we had to the tender process for this framework, and are really pleased to be bringing a unique and compliant procurement route to demolition services to the market with such a strong set of companies." There is a huge focus on the environmental impact that construction projects can have, and so demolishing old buildings with a negative impact and redeveloping brownfield land is becoming increasingly important for development schemes. But with these approaches come a whole host of challenges that require specialist services. This framework will ensure that clients can access those specialist services from the firm's best place to support, providing any scheme with the best start possible for redevelopment and doing so in the most compliant and efficient manner possible for the market. All of which is just fine and dandy. But three things. First and foremost, winning a place on a procurement framework is not the same as winning a project. The companies named so far have only made it onto a shortlist for consideration. There is no actual guarantee of work, and that is a subject that I've covered in an article that I published previously. You can find a link to that in the chat if you're interested in that. The second point of note is that the framework appears to have shrunk by almost £500 million since it was first announced. Over the next 4 years, those on the shortlist will fight for a share of £1.1 billion, still not to be sneezed at, but rather than the £1.56 billion originally announced. And the third point, which none of the other parts of the media appear to have picked up on, is the fact that there are several notable absentees from the framework, including several names that are usually among the first on the list. Did they not compete? Did they somehow fall short on this framework, even though they have largely dominated previous frameworks? Or is this another fallout from the ongoing Competition and Markets Authority investigation into alleged collusion in the UK demolition sector? Who knows? Just on the subject of that CMA investigation, episode 4 of our new podcast series, the CMA Files, will land with our patrons over at patreon.com/demolition news tomorrow. The audio version will become available to everyone else first thing on Monday of next week.
Axoft and Svantec are your high-end partners for noise, vibration, dust and air quality systems, sensors and software. To find out more, visit axoft.co.uk or call 01234 639 550.
If you were here yesterday, then you will know that I was racing out the door to head on up to Peterborough for the latest outing of the Vertical Days exhibition. As usual, and I know Lou Carney is in the chat, as usual, the microclimate of the East of England showground was lying in wait to drop gallons of rainwater onto the collective heads of visitors and exhibitors alike. However, as you're about to see, it didn't deter us brave souls from checking out the very latest in cranes and access equipment. Last time I was here at the East of England Showground was a few weeks ago, back in March, for the FutureWorks exhibition. On that day, it snowed. Here we are at Vertical Days, the opening day, and this time it's raining. But look at the product, things are looking up. Diggers and Dozers batch here today. I'm actually here as a bit of a stunt double for Tristan Mays over at Crane Hub. Go and have a look at Crane Hub if you haven't already. Obviously, as the name suggests, Crane Hub is all about cranes, but there's also a lot of access equipment available here at the show as well, and it'd be rude not to go and take a look around. Now, as I mentioned in that video, I was merely dipping my toe into the cranes and access waters. I wasn't fully immersed. If you really want to get the lowdown on all things crane related, then be sure to check out at cranehub.net. Now, before we move on, those fine folks at Liebherr yesterday gave me a couple of baseball caps. That's what they look like. Very smart they are too. I've already got a Liebherr hat, although these ones are different, so I'm hanging on to one of them. But if you would like to win the other one, I need you to do me a small favour. I've just added a link in the chat to the latest article in my Demolition Insider newsletter. All I need for you to do is to tell me the first word of the article, not the headline, but the words that appear under the photo. The first person with the correct answer gets this damn fine Liebherr hat. With my very best wishes and the best wishes of all over at Liebherr. Now, it's time for the latest Hillhead Highlight. Only this time we are focused not on a product, but on an initiative that is, in my opinion at least, long overdue. Now, we've had a couple of entries to the competition to win the Hillhead Highlight, not the Hillhead Highlights, to win the Liebherr hat, none of which are right. Let me just have a look. Go and make sure that you take a very good look at that article. The article is called Time for Demolition to Grow a Pair. It's not the headline we're looking for. It's the first word that appears under the photograph of the pairs, because that's how my brain works. Where were we? Yes. In an attempt to reduce the carbon footprint of the Hillhead show and to ease traffic congestion on the roads in and out of Buxton, the organisers of the Hillhead show have partnered with LiftShare to facilitate car sharing for those making a journey to the exhibition next month. I've just posted a link to the sign-up page in the chat, and we're still getting wrong answers on. It's not the headline we need. It's the words under the pairs. Have a look at that. I posted a link in the chat. So if you'd like to reduce your environmental impact, lessen the gridlock on Buxton's roads, or if you'd like to minimise the money you're handing to the oil companies just to get to an exhibition, then use the link that we've just posted. I'll come back to that one after the show. Now, we've had a few more entries, and we've also had somebody saying, I think it was Ken Hatteras, said he couldn't see the link to the article over on LinkedIn. So here it is again. It's in the chat right now. And I'm just going to say a very quick good morning to Peter Haddock, who has just pitched up in the chat. Morning, Peter. Good to see you here. Now, where are I completely lost track of where we are. Yes. Just a few months ago, we brought you details of the very latest generation of wheel loaders to emerge from the Doosan production line. Well, those machines are now hard at work with customers around the world, including over in America.
I love the people that you meet in this industry, whether it's new contractors you're working with, whether it's new engineering firms and or government entities. Every job's the same, but it's also different. My name is Jason Dunn. I'm with Marsh Construction Services out of Statesboro, Georgia. We do general contracting work as well as site development and vertical construction. The site we're located on is called the Interstate Exchange Project. It's a future development for commercial warehousing and industry that's associated with the global shipping industry here in Savannah. We are GCing the entire job from infrastructure, as you see, to final grading and paving for the roadway. We're utilizing the Doosan loader here for pipe laying, both storm drainage, domestic water, and sanitary sewer. And we've got the full underground infrastructure as part of our scope in this project as well. We do utilize it for some earth material movement, specifically stockpiled material that we can load both with the loader and an excavator. Very useful and handy machine, and we're very happy with it. The DL220 is ideal for not only this project, but the size of projects that our companies do well with. The one thing that stands out with the DL220 versus our other loader is the efficiency of the diesel exhaust fluid. It's 50% less consumption than our other machine. That is a huge savings. This site is known as the Port Fuel Center. It's a 15-acre site that we started about a year and a half ago. Basically, we started from natural earth. There was some clearing and grubbing of the trees to mass earth work. We've hauled in over 100,000 cubic yards of material there. over 400,000 square feet of concrete pavement, close to 9,000 square feet of asphalt paving, as well as some Georgia Department of Transportation turning lanes in and out of the project. What I enjoy in doing business with Synergy is the fact that when you call, you can talk to someone. They typically go out of their way to make sure that if we're in the need for a piece of equipment, that they find it, they provide it for us. That's what I like the best about Synergy.
Yeah, superb machines and even better accents.
The Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
Now, just to let you know, we have a winner of the Leave It hat. It is none other than our friend Farmer Julie Banks. Julie, remind me of your postal address, and that will be on its way to you, or possibly to Henry, depending how you'd like to play it. But you're the winner. Thank you very much indeed for taking part, and thank you for all those that also took part. But Julie was first off the mark with the correct answer, which was I. It was as simple as that. Now, explosive demolition is a serious business, but that doesn't mean you can't have a bit of fun when the blasts are over. What I'm about to show you is the first part of a film from those fine Italian blasters at Nitrix. And as you can see, when the blasts are over, they like to relax a little. We'll have a second part of that on tomorrow's show. It's a very good film. Features Godzilla. You'll have to wait and see. Let's press the button for this one.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
That pretty much wraps up the main part of today's show. I'm going to take Mrs. Demolition News for an anniversary lunch in a few hours' time, but don't let that stop you posting comments and asking questions. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. If you can't stick around for that, then please stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. But if you can stick around, I'll see you on the other side of this.